Hi, I'm CS Woolley and welcome to my Murder in March interview. Tonight I'm going to be talking about my upcoming book Rising Empire Part 3, so hopefully you'll find this informative and it'll give everyone a little bit more of an incentive to enter the Murder in March competition to be the one killed off in When Darkness Falls. So here goes. I am absolutely terrible with spoilers, so trying to tell people what happens in this book without giving everything away isn't really gonna end well. So Rising Empire Part 3 picks up almost instantly where Rising Empire Part 2 leaves off. So the opening couple of chapters, there's a little bit of a recap, so if you haven't read Rising Empire Part 2 and you pick up Part 3 by accident, strange as that does sound, it does happen, you're not going to be completely lost straight away within the storylines. By the end of the story, most of the loose ends have all been tied up. Some have to be left open because they're important later on. Some of them 12 books down the line, some of them not that far away. But there is a conclusion to the story of Kaznata and of Kia and of Wraith and of Kasna and of Kelmore and of the whole thing that's going on with Toller in the background. So you do get to see all that resolved. There's an awful lot of setup as well for what comes later. So some of the stuff that's in there may seem to be a little unimportant in terms of the main narrative, but I guarantee it will be important later on. Yeah, so, well, it's not necessarily going to be a happy ending, and it's not going to be the ending that everybody's kind of wanting for that story arc necessarily, but it's the way it should end. But yeah, I can't really say anything else without giving spoilers away, so it's really difficult. You do end up with a resolution to the King Mercia, Kaznata and Wraith kind of love triangle thing that's going on. So that does kind of all get worked out, so yeah. Wow, it's kind of a hard question to answer, mainly because there is a character that's sort of based on me already within the books. And interestingly also, there's a character that's sort of based on my best friend in there as well. So I would love to say that I'd be one of the members of the Order, one of the Anigoras, obviously. But I'd probably be more likely to be one of the Immortals. Yeah, just from the way that they act and the way that they go about life is kind of much more in keeping with my character and how I live and how I act and take on far too much most of the time. Favourite characters. Okay. So my favourite characters in the Rising Empire trilogy are definitely Helez and Ashael. They're a lot of fun to write and they're not what you expect, and you kind of see a bit more about that in this, well, in Rising Empire Part 3. So yeah, they're definitely my favourite characters in this part of the trilogy to write, but my favourite character overall, and that's including the other books I've written besides the Chronicles of Kellenmore, has got to be Caslow. Yeah, he's so much more interesting than everyone else, and there's a depth of his character that when I started writing him in, I kind of didn't expect to be there, so that was kind of a nice surprise for me as much as anything else. So yeah, he's definitely my favourite character. Um, ah, Epic fantasy, yes, the Chronicles of Selling is fairly epic, and well, within the Chronicles series, there's plans for 21 volumes in total, but that doesn't include the spin-off series that I'm going to be writing, which is going to be on the Dragonian Wars. So, for those of you that don't know, Rising Empire Parts 1, 2 and 3 are set 400 years before the next trilogy within the series, which that trilogy is already out. But the events of Shroud of Darkness, Lady of Fire and End of Days, which is the second trilogy in the Chronicles of Celadmore, that's kind of been dictated by the Dragonian Wars that happened about 4 years beforehand. So rather than it being trying to incorporate everything that happened into that war, which was 20 years long, into the 3 books as well as the narrative and plotline, I'm going to be writing what looks like an 18-part spin-off series at the moment. So there'll be about 40 books around the Chronicles of Celadmore and Celadmore, whichever way you want to pronounce it. I'm not really fussed. So that's 40 books for people to be getting their teeth into, really. There's not a lot I can really tell people about the characters in Rising Empire without giving too much away. Some of the characters, well, they do have an impact on what happens later on in the series. So their legacy is kind of more important than it might be suggested in the books. So certain actions that certain individuals take kind of get included in that. So for those of you who are already ahead with the reading, so you're in Shroud of Darkness, Lady of Fire and End of Days, you'll already kind of know a little bit about some of the characters' legacy, but it goes much further beyond that. Yeah, I can't really say anything without giving too much away for Rising Empire Part 3, so I'm going to have to leave it there. So as part of Murder in March, I'm giving away a couple of things. So not only am I giving away 3 books, so I'm going to be giving away Rising Empire Part 1 and Rising Empire Part 2 as part of the big book bundle giveaway, but I'm also going to be giving away Nicolette Mace, The Raven Siren Murder in the First, because I kind of thought that was slightly appropriate given that it's Murder in March. I'm also going to be giving people a chance to win being killed off in Book 7 of the Chronicles of Celadmore, which is When Darkness Falls. To give you a little bit of info on When Darkness Falls, it's picking up at the end of End of Days. It's a couple of years after the events of the Shroud of Darkness trilogy, but it's focusing on quite a few of the same characters from that series, so it's not like a, time jump between Rising Empire and Shroud of Darkness where you have got that 400 years chunk. This is only 2 or 3 years difference. So you do get a lot of the same characters, and that does pick up kind of nicely. So yeah, but there's going to be lots of people dying in When Darkness Falls, as the title might kind of give away. So yeah, so that's what I'm giving away, and good luck to everyone who's going to enter. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. I hope you've found it informative. I won't say enjoyable, because me rambling on about these kind of things I don't really think would be that interesting for most people. So I hope you enjoy Murder in March. Good luck to everyone who's entering the contest, and thanks for taking part.